I'm Yupik Eskimo. My mom is from Akutaq and my pa is from Akutaq. I learned from my mom, and she had learned this recipe from my paternal grandmother, Mama. So we have potato flakes here. We have half a cup of potato flakes. I'm gonna put it in here and add some water to hydrate it. This is gonna cut down on the shortening the oil in the Akutaq. So we have about half a cup of water to hydrate the flakes. Oh, before you do this, wash your hands really well. Next we have 1 cup of shortening. And to that I am going to squish it in here into the potato flakes and get it all incorporated. Years ago I used to make Akutaq with the KitchenAid, and one time we were stranded at the fish camp and I had to make Akutaq before the berries went bad, and I made it by hand. And the difference between using a KitchenAid and making by hand was huge. The heat of your hand kind of helps break down the Crisco, and when you're holding it, it also helps break down the Crisco, so it makes it a lot fluffier when you're using your hand. My parents, my mom and my grandmas, even my pa knows how to make wonderful Akutaq, always used a hand, and they were always really fast and strong when they made it. So what I do with my sugar is I put it in increments because I really like to get the Crisco nice and fluffy. So I have 1.5 cups of sugar here, and I'm going to use 1/3 of it. And to cut down and dissolve the sugar, I always add a little bit of water to that. And this is the part that takes the longest, but it's worth it. So I took the water and I'm gonna dissolve some of the sugar. And then from there, start whipping. Depends on how much sugar you use and how long it's gonna take for you to for the sugar to dissolve. And you can feel how gritty it is when every once in a while, so that you know when to put more sugar in it. The berries that I am using today are blueberries, and I had cut up some strawberries to add in there. You can always use any type of berries that you want: salmon berries, blueberries, blackberries, cranberries. And if the only thing that you have access to is from the store, use it. So right now, I'm making this on the table, but you can also sit down. When you sit down, you've got the bowl in your lap, which also helps with holding the bowl, and also adding heat to the surface where it'll help whip up and make the shortening fluffier. I remember one time when I was a little girl at fish camp, my grandma Fanny Nickry, she made Akutaq with, I think it was either moose fat or caribou fat. It was delicious. I loved it. I'll never forget that. When we run out of berries in the summer, in the late summer, and the berries are not ripe yet, we'll use cabbage, cut up cabbage, and raisins. Where we're from in Bethel, we get a lot of whitefish or pike. And so my parents or my mom would plain boil whitefish or pike and add it to the Akutaq. Makes it more of a meal rather than a snack or a dessert. If you're from up north, you might use sheefish. If you're from the Bay Area, you would use halibut. There's salmon. Those folks who live in the interior use salmon, and it's always just plain boiled. Makes it more savory. I've got the last of my sugar that I'm gonna pour in, and a little bit more water to help dissolve the sugar. I feel like Akutaq is such a special treat. A lot of times we'll make it for feasts. A lot of times we'll make it for a special birthday party. Or if we're just craving it, we'll make it. I'll make it. This would be more like a dessert for us. So we'd eat it after our meal. Soup, fish, whatever. Then we would have Akutaq. I loved watching my mom make Akutaq. And this part right here was my favorite part, without the berries. I'd have to go in and taste it. Okay, so next I'm gonna add all the berries. I got a gallon of blueberries here. And I'm just gonna put them all in. And then I got just a little bit different flavors, strawberries. The other day I made salmonberry Akutaq with the wild rhubarb. So we're just gonna incorporate all the berries into this Crisco. Try not to squash the berries too much. So at my wedding, at Jason and I's wedding, my mom made fresh blueberry Akutaq, and that one was unforgettable. I don't know, maybe because it was at my wedding. I have had Akutaq, the green Akutaq with pineapples in it. It's not bad. And I love raisins in my Akutaq. This is a big controversy, but raisins, some people like it and some people don't. I forgot to put the oil in, but I use the oil in at the end before I add the berries, so it cuts down also on the oiliness, kind of breaks it up even more. So we do a design on our Akutaq. It is to remember our ancestors. It's the runners of the dog sled and then the footprints of our ancestors. So here it is. Here's the end product.
Akataq tuktulim kunuk sa ngiskinga Ingluksi islaming lukun kupakluni Paisun kirang lika kunika pidanekta Nazaw luchungayaga